players working to change America. Newsmax calls Final Battle the book of the year. Dinesh D'Souza says it's the biggest expose of Joe Biden and the Democratic left ever. Get Final Battle in bookstores or check out the free offer and save $28. Just call 800-NEWSMAX. That's 800-NEWSMAX. Or go online to finalbattle611.com. Finalbattle611.com to get your free copy today.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. It's quite snowy out there. We'll be touching on those snow totals and what we can expect throughout the coming week coming up here in just a moment. But I'm meteorologist Justin Storm with Ag Director Bridgette Readel and Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. And guys, do you have any issues getting into work today, Bridgette? It looks like you're at home just like I am. And Dean, somehow you managed to get there.
That's because I'm not Kyle. I commuted across the living room and it was fine, but outside, a little different story.
This is a four-wheel drive day. If you don't have four-wheel drive, it shouldn't be out.
Is.
It's at period. And it's also.
Bridgette, how much snow did you guys get?
I'm thinking we're somewhere in that 6 to 7 inch range, just based on what I see that fell straight down on top of like the patio gazebo. But there's certainly a lot of drifting, and I think Fargo just got more. Dean, it sounds like you're pushing the 10, 11-inch mark down there?
Yeah, 9.4 officially. That was at noon, and we'll probably add another tenth or two to that. So figure 9.5 inches. But downtown and out in West Fargo, they got over a foot, and it'll be interesting to see what the final tallies are from downtown and out. And that's where the heavier banding kind of set up for a little bit longer and before it finally pushed into South Fargo. But yeah, what a storm. The most I saw was 14 inches. Where was it? One of them was in Jamestown, and the other, you've got that list I sent you, don't you there, Justin? Cragnis.
Oh, yeah, no, it's hiding somewhere.
Cragnis in Clay County picked up 14 inches. So, wow. Yeah, this was the biggest 2-day snow. In fact, we're going to do trivia on that. I got to finish it up. Finish it up. Yeah, this is the biggest 2-day snowfall we've had since, and I don't call in yet because I haven't figured out a prize yet, but we're going to give something away if somebody can figure this out. Let me do some digging here, guys.
Okay.
But
we'll let you do that.
I've got it almost finished here. I just want to make sure.
I'm going to charge you a box of Girl Scout cookies to do that, though.
Oh,
really? A lot of extra work you're throwing on me last second here.
You don't work as it is, so I'm just piling a little work on you. Hey. Oh, the boss is listening.
We're not
boss
supposed
is listening.
To work.
Sorry. Oh, wow.
This is
get
not
paid
a
to
time for a
talk.
performance review. This is not a time for a performance review, you two. Yeah.
Well, why don't we let Dean do a little digging there, Bridgette? We got a good handful of ag topics that we can cover in the meantime, and let's throw another curveball at you. We're not going to hit one from today. I want to go back to tomorrow, if that's okay with you.
Well, we can. And actually, Dean had made me do some homework yesterday. He had asked what was going to be the top-selling bull at the sale I was at. And I do have an answer for him because after I got back into the sale, I found out that the top-selling bull went for $37,000, and it went to Nova Scotia from South Dakota.
Cool. That's not...
Yeah, so...
That's kind of a bit of money. I was going to say that's not too bad, but $37,000 for a bull, I mean, probably not the most expensive one, but it's more than I'd spend on one.
But he's a good bull.
Hey, that's good. Did you pick up anything?
Yeah.
Did you win any auctions?
The group I was with bought a bull and 2 heifers.
Oh, there you go. So what's that add your guys' total up to now?
Well, considering that 2 of us have ownership of 1 cow, this doubled our herd because now we have 2. So yesterday was a big.
Hey, everyone starts with 0, right?
Right, you got to work your way up.
Well, why don't we touch one of these ag topics? This is biological changes or biologicals that are changing the pesticide industry.
Okay, so here's the way to think about this. For so long, we have always talked about the crop protection industry, and a lot of those chemistries are synthetic, right? They are produced in in chemical plants. Some of them have actually been grown. They are naturally occurring and they are labeled organic. There's really a variety of ways in which you're using crop protection products. And by that, I mean seed treatments, herbicides, insecticides, etc. Now, we are seeing an increase in the amount of biologicals. These are naturally occurring products that we can use as seed treatments, also as control for insects, where we've talked before about like pheromones and so forth. Also, nitrogen enhancement products, if you will, where they're able to improve the amount of nitrogen we can take from the air to supplement what we are already feeding a corn plant. These biologicals are expected by next year to hit the $12 billion mark as an industry. Yeah, that's a lot of change.
That's
a lot of new products
that's a
are
lot
coming
of bulls.
online. That's a lot more bulls. And folks are doing their homework with them. They're figuring out what works, what doesn't. In fact, I know that some of the North Dakota State researchers have been spending time, as well as University of Minnesota, talking to farmer education groups this winter, what they've learned in the past and what products they're going to be testing for the 23 growing season and moving forward. So as we have seen more green energy ideas come online in farming, we're going to continue to see that in the pesticide realm as well as more biological products come available as well.
I see. And, there's been a push to go from more green and just about everything. And is this becoming a more and more demanded thing, or I'm trying to think of how I want to word this, but is that the way that it's going, is we're trying to move away from synthetic to more biological?
I think there's a couple of reasons for that. As a whole, everyone is looking for new alternatives. And when you have been using a product for a certain amount of time, you start to see that you want to find, what's the newest, latest, and greatest thing. So folks are looking for that by all means. Additionally, I think it's important that we have started to see more of that green environmental movement happening. And I use green, maybe that's not quite the right term, but we just see more and more folks who want to use different modes of action. And if you can find a naturally occurring one, that's even better. So I think there's probably not just a consumer focus on it, but also from the farmer focus.
I see. And we had talked about this before with the biologicals and pesticides, with interfering with the pheromones so they don't reproduce, for an example that we've talked about before. And you had also mentioned that in the past that this has been kind of a more expensive thing to do with this biological pesticides and just the biologicals in general. If this is expected to reach up towards $12 billion and there's a more and bigger demand and push for production, is this going to bring the price down, make it more available, and at some point maybe be cheaper than your synthetic pesticides? Or I don't know if that's the correct term for it.
I think using synthetic pesticides is a good term, and they'll probably be on par with each other before too long. I think that the discovery process as well as the production process have started to get cheaper and more readily available as folks are willing to invest money into them to bring them to market. So I do think we'll see some of the initial costs come down and they'll become more mainstream. We've started to see it in seed treatments, and I think we'll continue to see it in insecticides, fungicides, and as well as wherever we can in weed control. But weed control, technically you could call cultivation or weed zappers or flamethrowers biological, right? Because you're using something from nature at that point too.
Okay, guys, you ready to give something away? I'm getting interrupted. I finally finished our trivia here.
You finished your homework?
I finished my homework, yeah. I got an A+. I got an A+.
What is it that you have decided that we're going to be giving away today, Dean?
When is the last time Fargo? Now we're going with the official reading. It was 9.4. We'll just round it up to 9.5. Okay, that's a 2-day. That's a 2-day snow between because a little over an inch fell last night, and then the rest fell today. When is the last time? And we're going to give away a rain gauge, and inside the rain gauge, I'm going to throw in a Tommy's Express car wash. Because you're going to need to wash your car after this.
Hey, whoa. You got that off my desk.
Prove it. Prove it. So when is the last time Fargo has received more than the 9.5 inches on a 2-day storm? So this is in other words, we can rephrase that as this is the biggest 2-day snow event that Fargo has received since when? 701-293-9000. If you can get the correct dates and just give me the correct dates. It doesn't even have to be
So are you
How
saying like the
much?
correct year or
Yes.
month and year?
Yes. The correct
That's
All
a
right.
good question there,
the
Dean. That's
correct
gonna
the
cause
correct
people to
year
do a
the
lot
correct
of
year
searching.
and approximately the correct dates. How's that?
I don't know-
701-293-9000. So in other words, if
Justin, are we allowed
you
to guess?
you can't just say, let's say it was January of 2017. You just can't say January 2017. Give me dates that are close, and we'll give
And
it
what
to
was
you.
it? You said 9.5 inches?
9.5 is what we have for this storm for yesterday and today. Now, this is the largest storm we've seen since when? Since when? What were the were the approximate dates and year? You got to get the year, but then if you can give me the
Right, and this is for Fargo.
This is for Fargo, the official measurement from Fargo. So again, we'll give Jacob just take the phone calls because we have a guest coming up here, and then whoever is closest will give away.
Okay.
And you've got to be within like a week, and you've got to have the right month and year. So, but if you can get it within the week, month, and year, we'll give you a rain gauge and a coupon off of Justin's desk for Tommy's Express Car Wash.
Hey, at
You're
least you
welcome,
didn't give
all.
away his cookies.
We could give away
I
his
hid
box of
those.
Girl
You
Scout
can't find
cookies,
them.
but they're already open. Yeah. So again, the trivia question, we've received about 9.5 inches of snow in Fargo, officially. When's the last time we've seen this much snow in a 2-day storm? 2 days. This is kind of I wouldn't say it's a trick question. Kyle got it almost right. He's like, oh, I know for sure during this time period, we had at least 14 inches of snow. And he was right, but it wasn't over 2 days. There's a hint. How's that?
Okay.
It's
I
not
think
we
it's a
got
good
hints
trivia
coming.
question.
Yeah,
Someone's going to have to work for that.
You're going to have to dig for that. So again, we'll throw in a rain gauge and a coupon off of Justin's desk for Tommy's Express Car Wash. So thank you, Justin, for donating.
By the way,
that
they got
to
the
winner.
second best car washes in town right behind Don's.
I've never been there to Tommy's,
But it's free,
actually.
so
It's
maybe you would consider it the best.
and
at
it's
that
and it's their
point.
number one works wash too. So this is like the big one.
Oh, even nicer. Yeah,
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
guys all
we
snowed
caught
out?
up with that much.
Have you had enough?
Yep. But there'll be more
No.
coming, and I know we're going to talk about that throughout this hour, especially as the fact that, hey, there's still some time left as we get ready to watch the LRC develop next week. We're going to talk about that special for our spring special, and that'll be on Tuesday, March 7th. We'll figure out what's still going to come, what's going to happen to us in the weather, not only for the next few days, we'll do that this hour, but we'll also prep for that LRC special next week. Right now, we're going to get ready for our guest. That'll be Nate Schlief. He's here to talk about the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show. You got to say that slowly. And we'll be able to talk to Nate here in just a few minutes after this.
Can you imagine a stress-free Sunday with family, friends, fun, and great food? You can have it when you make Barron's your new Sunday brunch headquarters. I'm telling you, it's a brunch like no other. First of all, customizable waffle bar. The kids will love it. Fresh scrambled eggs, thick cut bacon, all your favorites. Plus, while Mama sips on a mimosa, the kids can wear themselves out on the arcaded kingpins. It's a great start to a stress-free Sunday. Mention My Brunch Headquarters and receive 20% off Sunday brunch at Barron's. So make your Sunday stress-free, filled with great food, no cleanup, and most importantly, where family, friends, fun, and food come together for brunch at Barron's. Located off Highway 81 and 52nd Avenue within Kingpins. Go to brunchatbarons.com. That's brunchatbarons.com for details. And don't forget to mention My Brunch Headquarters for 20% off. And experience your stress-free Sunday at brunchatbarons.com today.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
Do you suffer from stiff, achy, chronic knee pain? Have you been told you have arthritis? Is knee pain keeping you from enjoying your favorite hobbies? If so, the next 60 seconds could change your life. Please listen carefully. If we find you are a candidate for our unique approach, we will do a trial treatment, and day one you will know without a doubt if we can help you. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-502-6200. And best of all, we may be able to reduce and even eliminate your knee pain without pills, shots, or surgery. Due to limited capacity, you must call now at 701-502-6200. Hurry. Call now to find out if you qualify for our program that is changing lives and helping people save time, money, and agony. Call now 701-502-6200. You have nothing to lose, so call right now.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. Like in Austria, where generations work side by side to build sustainable housing and community centers. In India, volunteers run a mobile blood bank to help provide a steady blood supply for their local community. And in Taiwan, people are working hard to get vulnerable citizens the support and services they need. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. Take action with us. Find out more at rotary.org/action.
And welcome back to WDAY, Weather and Ag in Focus. Oh, there's so much powdery white stuff outside, but we are here to warm your hearts and share all of our good news about farming and weather here on Weather and Ag in Focus. And I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki and Justin Storm, Meteorologist Extraordinaire. As promised, we have with us our guest today. That is Nate Schlief. Nate is with the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show that's coming up very, very soon here in March. And Nate, we can't wait to hear more about it. So tell us what's all going to be going on and when.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. And before I got on, I was listening to Dean's comments about the weather and his trivia. And I just was going to ask him, how boring would this be? Just think about this.
Okay.
On Friday, I'm going to travel down to Florida for a conference. And the temperatures down there are going to range from 78 to 87 degrees in the next 7 days, with a low of 57 to 63.
Now, why are you doing that, Nate?
What would you report on every day? It'd be like the same broadcast over and over again.
Wouldn't that be a great job?
You wouldn't complain, right?
No, I would not complain.
Right.
I worked in Phoenix doing the weather down there, and it was very similar during the summer months.
Yeah. I was just thinking that we talk about all this weather that we have up here, which is it's great. I enjoy it, so it's not a problem. But anyways, the reason that I'm here today is just want to talk about the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show. The guys had asked there if I had any pictures, anything that you guys could show on while we're discussing this, and I did think of this. If you go to the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show Facebook page, there is also some pictures. Oh, Bridgette's got some tractors sitting there too. So yeah, I forgot that today. So
That's
there
okay.
are pictures
I
of
brought
perfect. There's a couple displays that are pictures, and then there's also a picture of the shirt that we had designed this year for the show, something different. So there, if you want to show any of that, that would be a place to find it. Our show is March 10th and March 11th, so it's Friday and Saturday. Starts at 12 noon on Friday and goes till 7 p.m. Saturday, it runs from 9 in the morning till 5 p.m. If you want more information about it, I'm going to give you my partner, Mike Ratty. I'm going to give you the phone number to reach him if you have any questions. His number is 218-791-5818. And the two of us have
Nate,
been
I will
fielding
keep that
some.
number. So I'll keep that number,
Okay,
Nate. So if
perfect.
folks listen and they're like, hey, I missed it, I'll keep that and send it out to people as well.
And Nate,
Perfect.
Nate, a couple of questions. What kind of attendance do you guys usually get from this? And are these mainly collectible items, or I mean, can people purchase some of these?
Yep. Sure. So this year we're going to have 107 tables total we have signed up. Of those 107, about 21 of those tables are going to be either farm toy displays, where they're actually somebody's built either a 4x8 or 5x8 display, laid out like an entire farmyard. And so that's obviously for people to look at. There's a good example there on the screen. There will also be about 80 vendors, and those people will be there buying and selling toys. With those 20 other tables of, I'll call it featured items, we have a 3D printing company coming that actually manufactures the printers, another gentleman that does 3D printing, and he'll be doing demonstrations. We have a gentleman by the name of Paul Henry from Moorhead, and Paul makes these beautiful model versatile toy tractors and puts tons of hours into those tractors. So he's got lots of custom pieces that he'll bring there just for display and to discuss. The Toy Farmer also will have a booth there, so they'll have information. And then we also decided this year that NDSU is going to have a table there and talk about the Department of Ag Engineering. We're trying to promote for students that might be coming through and looking if they got an interest in agriculture and either the ASM program or Department of Ag Engineering. So they're actually going to be there as well. Kind of fits in with the robotics and farm toy industry. So we got a lot of different things that are going on besides just the vendors that are there and buying and selling toys.
Okay, and one of those vendors you mentioned, the Toy Farmer, that's actually a magazine. And for those who might not be familiar, the Toy Farmer magazine is out of Lemoore, North Dakota. That's a homegrown process. I think they've been publishing since the 80s, Nate. Would that be about right, that you've been able to subscribe
1978
to
is when they started the newsletter, 1978.
Okay.
Yep. It was black and white up until January of 1986, and then they went to a color magazine.
And they have a museum down at Lemoore if you wanted to tour that as well.
Yeah, they have a museum. Now, I know that they're closing. I don't know if it's completely closed, but they did have an auction and they sold some of the things, and Kathy's just decided to kind of just close a few things up. So that's what's happened there. Speaking of toy museums, there is a newer toy museum, actually last year in January, and out in Carpio, North Dakota, which is just north of Minot, between Minot and Kenmare. 3 individuals bought a 30 by 60 building out of Kenmare, had it hauled 25 miles down to Carpio, set it up down there, bought the lot, put it up, and that toy museum has about 7,000 toys in it, and they continue to increase. So we were there last year and got a chance to go to the grand opening, which they had that right after or during the Minot Farm Toy Show. So in North Dakota, there's some neat history in the farm toy industry. Yes, we've got Toy Farmer in Lemoore. These gentlemen that have started this toy museum out there. We've got a number of people that custom build toys in North Dakota. So it's pretty neat hobby, and there's a lot of ties in North Dakota.
Okay, I'm looking at the museum that's out there by Carpio. I'm scrolling through because we all are just, internet addicts, right? And it's amazing how many toys they have got. And they've got custom, they have special editions. I can see some here that are John Deere. They're a lineup they're plated in gold. So This is pretty neat that all of these toys are out there, because we think about farm toys for kids that are just going to carpet farm, but This is a huge adult hobby as well. There's so many collectibles that bring back memories, right, Nate?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of that. As far as from a collector standpoint, I've watched a few auctions just here in the last few months, and there was a custom piece of tillage equipment, 1/16 scale, and it brought over $11,000 when it sold in the auction. It's amazing what some of these pieces and these collectors, there are some high-end collectors that have invested money into it. We've seen more and more of that here recently. We've even noticed that the toy shows themselves have had an increase in attendance. We were out in Minot at the end of January. I believe there was about 80 tables of vendors out there, and the attendance was great. I went up to Langdon to their show a couple weeks ago. They had like 400 people come through the show. So I know I talked to some people down in Buffalo, Minnesota, just have had excellent attendance on toy shows lately. So it just seems to be a lot of interest in that, and I think people are still wanting to get out, get involved, and see these things that, maybe COVID, some of those restrictions kept us from doing. So for our industry, it's been fantastic, and the number of farm toy auctions has really grown as well. So this whole thing just continues to revolve, and it's pretty neat to watch and be involved in.
Oh, I think it's huge, and it's really changed for a lot of folks as to what they want to be a part of, right? What their hobbies might be. And we're going to continue this conversation when we come back. Nate Schlief is with us. Nate is the organizer, one of the organizers of the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show event that's coming up here in March. And we're going to continue to visit with him after we return from the bottom of the hour.
News Talk Radio 970 WDAY. Hi, meteorologist Justin Storm. Every afternoon, my forecasts let you know how the afternoon weather is going to go and that all-important ride home from work. In all 4 seasons, that's the reason you listen. Weather changes fast, and I'll give you the current conditions as well as what the evening will look like so you can make decisions on the plans you've made. Don't forget Weather and Ag Radio every day at 1 p.m. right here on WDAY.
At Helping Hands Care, the key is finding the right people. They are currently hiring for CNAs and homemakers in their Fargo office, full and part-time with flexible schedules. Apply at helpinghandscareND.com.
Can you imagine a stress-free Sunday with family, friends, fun, and great food? You can have it when you make Barron's your new Sunday brunch headquarters. I'm telling you, it's a brunch like no other. First of all, customizable waffle bar. The kids will love it. Fresh scrambled eggs, thick cut bacon, all your favorites. Plus, while Mama sips on a mimosa, the kids can wear themselves out in the arcade at Kingpins. It's a great start to a stress-free Sunday. Mention My Brunch Headquarters and receive 20% off Sunday brunch at Barron's. So make your Sunday stress-free, filled with great food, no cleanup, and most importantly, where family, friends, fun, and food come together for brunch at Barron's. Located off Highway 81 and 52nd Avenue within Kingpins. Go to brunchatbarons.com. That's brunchatbarons.com for details. And don't forget to mention My Brunch Headquarters for 20% off. And experience your stress-free Sunday at brunchatbarons.com today.
Happy Harry's presents the 58th annual Red River Valley Sportsman Show, March 2nd through the 5th at the Fargo Dome. The Sportsman Show is really 5 big shows in one. A boat show with the latest in fishing boats, pontoons, runabouts, personal watercraft, docks, and lifts. It's a camping show with North Dakota's largest display of RVs, campers, and trailers. A travel and vacation show with over 100 resorts, campgrounds, and hunting lodges. Guarantee your dates now by planning your vacation right at the show. A hunting and fishing show with a great selection of rods and reels, tackle, and the latest in outdoor electronics. Daily hunting and fishing seminars featuring Ted Takasaki and Todd Ammonroot. Kids fishing clinics, live trout pond, and introducing the exotic birds of Wildlife Wendy. Save $1 coupons and show information available at fargosportshow.com. It's North Dakota's largest, the Sportsman Show, March 2nd through the 5th at the Fargo Dome. Bring the whole family and don't miss it. A Sonenko production.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Bob Woodruff. In 2006, a roadside bomb struck the armored vehicle I was riding in while reporting from Iraq. I sustained a life-threatening traumatic brain injury. The military term "got your six" means I have your back. And that day, our service members had mine. During my recovery, I learned firsthand the challenges facing our service members who return home with injuries. While serving, their fellow service members always had their six. Now that they're home, it is our turn. We started the Bob Woodruff Foundation to make sure that the camaraderie and support they relied on in the military carries on, and we need you. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative and help us be there for impacted veteran service members and their families. They've had our backs. It's time we have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org. That's gotyoursix.org, using the number 6.
At Helping Hands Care, they strive to find employees who are compassionate, ethical, and reliable. Currently hiring for CNAs and homemakers in the Fargo office. They have several different shifts with very flexible scheduling. Apply at helpinghandscareND.com.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. Our guest today is Nate Schlief of the Grand Forks Toy Farm Show. If you have any questions for Nate, feel free to give us a call, 701-293-9000. That's 701-293-9000. Nate, I've got a couple of questions here. First is, do people invest in farm toys as a form of an investment? And what is the most expensive farm toy? What is it sold for?
The most expensive farm toy that I am aware of was a couple years ago. I was talking to an auctioneer down in Sioux Falls, and he had a pedal tractor, which is like a ride-on toy for kids. It was a John Deere B model, and there was some history behind it. That pedal tractor, he estimated at their auction, was going to bring $70,000.
Whoa!
And they had come out of the guy's house in Chicago. They had spent a week with a team of guys, and I thought he said they brought 4 semi-loads of pedal tractors out of his house.
Whoa.
Wow.
So, yes, there are people that collect and invest in this all the time, and there seems to be some true items that have really just gone up in value, and people that are kind of in the hobby and paying attention to that, I think they've made some cash lately doing that. So, yeah, it's there's definitely people out there that we will have a combine, actually 2 different custom combines at our show that were made based off of older international combines, and the one item was about $1,800, and the other one was about $1,000. So those are a couple that we'll have on display there. That will be the higher end, I would say, items for us to have on display.
I knew I should have kept that pedal tractor as a kid. I knew it.
Yeah.
This all makes my custom John Deere, or my custom Wysocki disc, look like peanuts compared to these pedal tractors. Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, the pedal tractor, and again, that's a niche, right? Because they take up a lot of space. So not everybody can house something like that. A lot of people add onto their garage if they're going to actually put them on display. You know, some people just put them away in a closet and never take them out on display. There's just all kinds of different ways to go about it. But yeah, it's pretty eye-opening when you see some of that stuff. And I mentioned this before, the biggest thing that I think I enjoy about the farm toy show is you can come in there with, small children all the way up to, they can be there with their parents or their grandparents, and everybody picks out something that they like. They all seem to enjoy it, have fun, the smiles on everybody's faces. It's just a good, happy, fun time to be at. So that's the part for me. And seeing these guys come in, these kids, last time when we were in Minot, I was giving them some shirts that I had there, and it's just fun. It's just a lot of heartwarming things to see, and some of the connections that they're making to this. And when your dad or your grandpa can tell you about a farm toy that he has as a kid and the memories that he had with it, or just playing on the carpet or out in the sandbox, I mean, those are just really precious.
And I was wondering, these custom toys, why are they so expensive? And are they more expensive if you were to just go to, say, like a Case dealership and buy one off the shelf?
Well, a lot of them's like what Bridgette said with the Wysocki disc. Okay, the Wysocki disc, no manufacturer has made a Wysocki disc, right? So somebody individually picks it up and says, these are pretty popular in North Dakota, so I'm gonna build them and make them, and they'll have detail on them, like nuts and bolts and springs on the outer reset trip and all the hydraulic hoses and the hydraulic fittings, to the point that they look as detailed as the actual thing, all these parts and pieces.
Yep.
And your larger manufacturers like Readel, and they're not to that detail. They have realized that though, and they have added levels of toys that you can buy. Now there's a prestige level, and then there's a precision level. Those are more detailed, but they recognize that people were custom making toys with those kind of details on them, and there was a market for that. But most of the time, the reason they're a one of a kind, the craftsman that made it, maybe he only made two his entire life, and everybody may know his name in the industry, and so it just it kind of goes. You're buying a piece of art basically from that individual.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what it is. It's
That's a really great way to call this. These are literally little pieces of art that folks are buying. They just happen to replicate your childhood if you were involved with farming in any way. And so, Nate, early on you mentioned a name, Paul Henry, and he does some custom builds. And it sounds like he's got a pretty long history in the region of being able to do that.
Yeah, I believe, if I remember right, he said like 17 years ago he started, and he was just kind of dabbling in it. And then in 2017, his wife passed away. And what he told me was that was something, he had a lot of time on his hands. So then he really kind of dived into it and spent some time. And he had built a couple trucks that he had there. And then he had also, and I mean, there's sand cast items in these trucks, individual pieces that were cast. And then he glues them, and he puts them together and puts them, like parts of the engine, into the truck. And then he builds the frame of the truck. And then he adds the wheels and the axles and the steering wheel and the interior. And it's just one. And when you look at this and he shows it to you, and the pride that he has, I mean, we were so excited to have him come back again this year, because he's got these really nice display cabinets that he's got everything set up, and just to listen to him and talk about it, and the enjoyment that he has with that. So it's for him being somebody local like that I didn't really know existed till last year, and then I had looked back in the Toy Farmer and actually done an article about him, but he's really kind of specialized in these trucks and these versatile tractors. But it's just amazing.
It's fascinating, the work and the detail they go into, because you're right, I have some of those custom builds, and I mean, we're talking right down to the mini jack stands and the tiny hitch pins go along with these. They are such attention to detail that when you put them in those farm scenes, like we showed earlier, those are some pictures that you had, Nate. They look wildly realistic. We're talking, they're actually moving grain on the augers and in the bins. They've got great little trees and people, and it can be anything that you recall working in the farmyard, in a field. One that you had that we showed on our live stream earlier was actually a tractor pull. There were little tractors pulling each other. It was excellent. So what's your favorite part of doing this, Nate, of putting together a show or putting together a display?
Well, I guess for me, I have a son with some disabilities, and this is a hobby that him and I can work on together, and he can use his mind to figure out what it is that he wants to put down. So it's a completely inclusive hobby, and we've done this now. We've went down to the National Farm Toy Show. I believe he's been there 4 times, and he really doesn't. It doesn't matter to him if he places and comes home with a trophy. He's just there because he enjoys it. And all the kids that come up and talk to him about what he's done, and we tell him, this isn't a lot of these things we bought from Menards. We went and got sandpaper, and we cut the sandpaper out to make roads. And then the mom and dad kind of sit there and they shake their head and they go, oh yeah, we could do this at home. Like that picture that's shown there, we sprinkled some gravel on top of sandpaper. You can get some cool textured paint at Menards. It just all kinds of levels of things. So for me, it's the inclusiveness of having everybody, in the hobby and getting together I mean, I started with farm toys when I was a kid, and my parents, we actually had a trailer house fire, and everything was lost except I had these toys lined up underneath this bed. And the heavy mattress of the bed saved the toys. I still have those toys. I mean, just memories like that, things that you have, or time with your cousins, spent with your cousins. So I guess to me, it's just the reminiscing and all the good people that you meet. This hobby is just full of wonderful people, and you get to know them really well, and it's pretty cool.
For our listeners who are following, hang on just a sec,
Bridgette.
Justin, but I want to remind for folks that are using our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus, after we do this interview, we will post that with Nate. And I'm going to ask folks to also post pictures of their favorite toys and memories, because a lot of us have them. So, Justin, go ahead. I'll make sure to take care of that after we get off air today.
How about the construction equipment toys? Like the bulldozers, the skid steers. And I had a bunch of those when I was growing up as a kid. We'd play out in the dirt, and we'd make dirt mines with all the little Tonka trucks and whatnot. Is that as big as the farm toys? And do you see any setups with like the construction equipment?
I don't, but the Toy Farmer magazine in Lemoore actually has a separate magazine that they produce called the Toy Trucker and Contractor, I believe, and that's dedicated to people that are collecting construction toys and trucks. So I've not been to a show that specializes specifically. We always have them intermix some with our show. There's a gentleman from Park River that buys a lot of trucks and sells trucks. There's another guy from out by Minot that buys Tonka toys and customizes them and does different things. So they are at our shows along with the farm equipment, but I haven't been to a show that's just specifically. But like I said, I know there's a magazine out there, so there's enough interest in that industry as well that there would be. And I have seen some prices on some of those very detailed construction toys, and they're also can be pretty expensive depending on the level of collector that you want to be. So
skip crypto, go right to farm toys.
No kidding.
Yeah, no doubt.
There definitely is some money that goes into it. I have an old friend I used to work with, and he was overseas during war periods last year. I can't remember if it was Vietnam or somewhere around that time period, but he was within a tank battalion. He was one of the operators for this tank platoon. And when he got out of the Army, now all he does, not all, but his hobby is putting together these tank models and putting these little dioramas up of the tanks from that he used to drive and operate and that were within his squad. And he gets countless inquiries of people wanting to buy these diagrams that he sets up of these old tanks. And I can't believe how much money people are willing to pay for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, Nate,
But it's a fun, clean deal to do.
Yeah, Nate, we had a contest earlier in the season. Name this sound. Now, with all the farm toys and everything, see if you can name this sound here. We'll do it one more time. Does that sound familiar?
There used to be a product called Melky the cow, and she would make a noise like that when you grabbed her tail and went back and forth. That's what I thought of.
Justin, you want to tell him?
It's the what is it? Little Tyke's cow barn door, I think. Is that correct, Bridgette?
Oh.
It's the Red Fisher Price barn, the wood one. Yep. But you're right. That little cow that you could actually milk and pump the tail, it did
Same
make a
noise
like that too. It was very similar. Very similar.
Well,
Nate,
we want to
not going to go right ahead, Justin. I was going to do the same thing.
I was going to say, we appreciate you joining us here on Weather and Ag in Focus today, talking a little bit more about it. Again, you touched it at the beginning of the show, but I'll give you this last 30 seconds to a minute if you want to throw anywhere out where people can get more information about the toy show, any pages,
Sure.
And as well as the dates of when it's going on again.
Okay. If you want to look at either the Alaris website, there's information out there in their events listing. Toyfarmer.com also has our ad digitally up on their website. Or if you go onto Facebook, you can go to the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show, go join our page and take a look at the information that's out there. Our contact, if you need to give us a call, my partner is Mike Ratty. and his number is 218-791-5818, that you can reach him. And again, it's $6 admission, 12 and under are free. The dates of the show are March 10th, Friday, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., and the 11th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'd love to see you come out.
This is going to be awesome. Thanks for joining us today, Nate. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick update, or we're going to get a quick update from the American Ag Network, and when we return, we got another check at that forecast, a couple ag topics to get to, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
On the next Coffee Club with Janae and Ronnie.
We're going to visit with the ladies over at Hero and find out exactly what they need. They need help from the community. Also, we're going to visit and find out what's going on at the Dome this weekend at the Fargo Sportsman Show.
Plus, we'll dig out from this storm. Feels like I'm still digging out. All the usual fun, the Great Harvest Spread trivia, and more.
The Coffee Club, weekdays 8:30 to 11 on AM 970 and 93.1 FM WDAY.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Sunday at 6 a.m. Planning for your financial future can be stressful. It involves investments, taxes, insurance, and estate planning. At Creative Planning, we have an entire team working for you, including wealth managers, CPAs, and attorneys, all in one place, all working together. Let Creative Planning show you a richer way to wealth. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
When was the last time you had a made-from-scratch pizza, all the way down to the dough? That's what they do with their pizzas at O'Kelly's Bar and Grill in Fargo. Handmade from scratch, fresh every day, including the dough. And you know what else? You can use those same made-from-scratch pizzas for fundraising. If your group is looking for new, easy ways to raise money, O'Kelly's is there to help. Your organization can sell pizzas, soup, and stew for fundraising. Just talk to Tori at O'Kelly's. O'Kelly's, delicious food, priced right. I-29 in Maine in Fargo.
Rich Risva with American Ag Network here for this market update. We're chatting with Mark Lucas of Stone X. Mark, after yesterday's meltdown in the soybean complex, I see they're seeing a little bit of strength today. What are you making of these markets?
You know, it's kind of interesting. This morning, there was some information out of China. And, yeah, we always take news out of China with a little bit of a jaundiced eye. But some, pretty bullish news. This is the second month in a row in terms of their domestic expansion in terms of what's going on with the economy. And maybe some, strong signs that they're shaking off finally this whole zero COVID policy and the whole pandemic thing curbs that it really had strangled the economy there for a while. And their February manufacturing numbers came out very good. I won't get too deep into that, but also they show that their export orders expanded for the first time in 2 years. And so some very, friendly business growth type numbers coming out of China. That put a lot of strength in the Chinese yuan and putting some pressure on the U.S. dollar this morning. And so it's kind of a twofold effect, I think, on the soybean side of things. China, great. Economy's growing, maybe more demand for our soybeans, which, we'd like to see. And at the same time, the dollar putting in a pretty soft performance today, which makes our exports a little bit cheaper looking. So you put some money on soybeans today because of that. But still, we have to face the reality that Brazil soybeans are somewhere around probably $1.20, $1.30 cheaper FOB than U.S. beans. So I don't know that this will be a very long-lived rally in beans, but at least it's nice to see it can bounce a little bit today.
Those have been comments by Mark Lucas of Stone X. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:55 on this afternoon, and we were just speaking with Nate Schlief of the Grand Forks Farm Toy Show that's going on the 10th and the 11th of March. And Bridgette, I know we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks that Nate was going to be joining us. Are you going to be attending this?
You know, I'd like to say I am, but I will be getting home from Commodity Classic, which is I was just looking at my calendar to do that. Commodity Classic on Friday the 10th, that is the largest indoor farm show in the U.S. And I'll be coming back from Orlando, Florida. If I can sneak up there Saturday morning, though, I am certainly going to try to do that. And that'll be at the Alaris Center on March 11th. But it looks like that would be a just tremendously fun display to go to, and especially if I can take some little kids with me.
And it just amazed me how much some of those, and you know, they're collectibles. I get that, but wow, the price on for that pedal tractor.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Justin could have almost got a couple of bulls if he'd have bought that.
Right. Did you guys? I had one of those. It was a red pedal tractor. I remember growing up with it, and I can't remember what the brand name was, but it was a blast to ride that.
So
my grandpa bought me a green one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Deere.
If it was red, it might have been an IH. Justin would have had a John Deere. My brother's had some. He had a white Case before Case and IH merged. So they're out there.
Nice. Well, let's take
good kind of nostalgia thing,
right? Exactly. Well, we didn't have a winner on our trivia, so we're going to carry this trivia into the Jay Thomas show. The trivia question is, once again, you've got about 3 minutes here. We picked up, we'll just call it 9.5 inches. It was officially 9.4 inches just before noon, and we've picked up a touch more. So we'll just say 9.5 for the official snowfall total here in Fargo. When's the last time we've received that much snow in a 2-day storm? In a 2-day storm, 9.5 inches. 701-293-9000.
June 7th and 8th of 2003.
No, I'll give you a hint. It was in August. It was not in June. It was in August.
Wow.
It was a freak snowstorm. I'm joking.
I was going to say, I don't believe anything either one of you are doing right now.
No, but we're
just not.
Yeah, we're going to give away a rain gauge and then a car wash too. So again, we've picked up about 9.5 inches, 9.4. Now downtown picked up more. West Fargo picked up more. Many areas picked up closer to a foot. But when's the last time we've picked up 9.5 inches of snow in a the key word is 2-day storm?
You know, I have absolutely no idea. And
I was
going to
say,
to
it's too bad that considering that it's a snow day out there and all these kids are at home, they're supposed to be working from home. If they could just play with their toy tractors all day, I bet they'd enjoy their day a whole lot more. Just saying. Got mine right here.
I'd be going out snowmobiling if I had a snowmobile.
Yeah, I need to get mine up here. It'd be perfect. Well, we didn't get any snow up here in Grand Forks, so I'd have to haul it down there to you guys.
Did you even get a flurry? You didn't get a flurry. Did you get a trace at least? I saw nothing.
Have a dusting on my driveway.
Yeah.
Not a flake on the driveway.
Unbelievable.
But going back to what you were saying, there was 9.4 in Fargo, but just northwest, downtown West Fargo, 12, 13 inches of snow.
Right.
That's not a very far distance, and that all kind of plays into just how much of a variation you can get from banding of the snow. So I was just going to plug a little post that I threw up earlier today, kind of explaining how you can get a foot of snow, but your neighbor 15 miles down the road only gets 4 inches. If you want to check that out, it's on our Facebook page, Weather and Ag in Focus. Kind of goes into a little bit of explaining on how these snow bands work and why you can have such a huge variation in snow amounts over a short amount of area. But that's going to wrap it up for Weather and Ag in Focus today. We thank you for joining us this afternoon. Dean will have a full look at the forecast coming up here in about 7 to 20 minutes with the Jay Thomas show whenever he does that. But that'll be coming up here next, and we'll have be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Looking forward to seeing you then.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM. Fargo.